If you were kind of to look back at somebody in your life that played a major role in how you believe things, do you know who that might be? Like someone in your family, or someone was one of your teachers, or someone completely unknown to you? Are you able to tell me who that might be?
Yeah, without question, my second teacher, my second teacher, um, I regularly these days I thank her quietly for teaching me things that I don't think I was set up to learn. Like my life didn't look like I would learn that kind of stuff, and I don't know what it was that drew me so strongly to learn that. The interesting thing is that from her, I learned a lot about how to think beyond limits, how to create results that everybody says are impossible, those kinds of things. I also learned the shadow side of it. I learned how easy it is for us to not be aware of the darkness that grows underneath our feet almost. There were some challenging sides to it, but what was amazing about that is that I then had to face those. And I found another teacher who was not so influential in that way, but taught me how to open my heart, taught me how to connect with my soul, how to find love in situations where all I would want to do is judge or be afraid or something. So the combination of this incredibly powerful teaching, very forward thinking, very expansive, and very natural, everything based on the principles of nature, plus the challenges that came up in there that led me to find other teaching and other help, that combination has been extraordinarily powerful, I would say, in my
Mm.
life.
You know, I have a belief that because almost all religions talk about love, they may disagree with many other things, but one thing that they agree on is the topic of love. That I believe that that may be the most important thing that we have to embrace or remember in this earth plane, in this place. How much do you feel that one, loving yourself and then loving what you do has an impact on our success?
It's very hard to put words to how important love is. And then it's so easy for us as humans to put love always outwards. The thing, to a certain extent, I would say it's unlimited. One of the things that I've found is that, in a way, some of what I'm doing now seems so crazily ambitious for somebody who, I'm just me. I'm a very small human being. I I know a bit of something, and most of what there is to know, I don't know, and it feels crazy. And what I find is I'm just called all the time to have like more love. And it was really interesting. I was doing an exercise with some of my students this morning, and they were talking about the gun violence in America. And we were doing some kind of global healing type of thing. But what came to me was that actually the reason that I do the things I do is for love, and at one level it's for me to experience that. I feel for me as a soul in this body on this planet, in this rather kind of crazy weird experience that we have on earth, that somewhere we're choosing, like you say, to experience love expressed perhaps through different forms, not just love. We want to experience joy and freedom and other things, but they all spring out of love. And it feels to me like even the world we live in now, which seems so crazy at times, it's the perfect world for me and my soul to kind of find that and experience that, because it's not easy. If it was really easy, it feels like it just wouldn't be. It's not the right time for that. At the moment, it's the right time for us to. I don't know, it's like there's a stretching of love that needs to come out. So for me, all I can say is it's always the answer. There are other things that come in there. It's always the answer. I always feel I'm not terribly good at it, but I like to get better at it. I like to experience more of it. I come to recognize that love is everywhere around me, and that when I can accept and experience that, I don't need to work so hard at it myself. I think the thing with self-love is that I've never found that working at it works very well. But when I can experience love in my environment, in the field, in the energy around me, and experience, oh, it's already here. I don't need to work at loving myself, but I can experience this love that is life, that is me, that is everything. And then self-love becomes a part of that. That feels
Yeah.
easier for me.
Yeah. Was there somebody in your life that taught you unconditional love?
There's somebody, that second teacher taught me how to, he taught me that when I'm triggered by something, he taught me a way to open my heart so that then I would experience unconditional love.
Mm.
And that was really important. So all the things where I'd closed myself off, progressively, one by one, week by week, like relentlessly, he made me face every single one of them. But at the same time, I was a teacher when I was 27, 28, and I remember looking at other teachers who used to get angry with children, and I couldn't understand it. It's like, how can you get angry with these children? I remember this little boy in my class who was really, like, we would say thick, he just didn't get things. And I remember looking at him, it's like, yeah, you're difficult to teach, but I love you. Like, I really loved every single one of those children sort of the same. There was no, oh, I love you more because you're more clever or because you're a better student. I just loved them. So I feel like that's in us. That's in us anyway. We know that. But I did close my heart a lot through life experiences, and I really needed that teaching. And that's something I share a lot with people. Like, we need that, a way to deal with those things so that we don't keep ourselves closed for the rest of our life.
Yeah. Do you have a mistake that you made in your life that you're kind of absolutely proud that you made?
It's a kind of bittersweet question, isn't it? The thing that comes to mind is when I was 28, I think, I received an inheritance from my grandfather. He decided to pass his money on to his grandchildren.
Yeah.
I tried at the time to do ethical investment. That was in the 80s, and it did exist, but it was just so meaningless. And I had a stockbroker, a typical kind of stockbroker. That's what you did. You gave your money to a stockbroker to look after, and they did whatever they did with it, and you paid their fees, and that was it. And I didn't learn anything. So one of my regrets is that I didn't learn anything about money at that time. One of my bittersweet regret is that I put all of my inheritance, every single penny, into learning about health and well-being and into the business I created in London. Would I do it again? In a way, it's the treasure of my life. In a way, it was a really unwise decision because I didn't learn anything about money except what not to do with it.
Yeah.
But I did get the gift of being given the book, having messed up so completely and utterly. I got the gift of the book. So I don't know what to say. Like, I just think I was very unwise. I was very wise. Yeah, it's very mixed up.
If you were able to give a person one thing or say one thing that they could take with them, what do you think that would be? One piece of advice.
The piece of advice I want to give is the piece of advice that feels so hard to receive, but I want to say relax.
Interesting.
I've honestly found that it doesn't matter what challenge I'm faced by. And I've had some hairy ones in my adult life, especially some really challenging situations.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what pain I'm faced by, that underneath all of it, there is a place of relaxation which opens up everything else. It doesn't matter what I want to experience spiritually or some other way. Relaxation is the ground for all of it. So it's, for me, it's the beginning, it's the end, it's the middle, it's the everyday. And it's such an innocuous kind of nothing word, but I've never found a better word for it.
I see. What are you working on now? And what I know that on your website you have a number of classes and other things. What are you? Can you sort of tell us what you have and what a person would go through when they take some of these classes and things?
Yes, I'll tell you about a couple of things. So we are just about to start something. It's going to be called Liberate.
Yeah.
All my business used to be called Sarah McCrum, and now we've recently changed, and now we're called Liberate Humanity. And so there's this very strong longing, I think, for us to liberate our spirit. That's for me what I've been looking for all my life. I can now put that language around it. What I was looking for in Cambridge University was, how do I liberate my spirit? How do I liberate myself to be able to do what I want to do, create, contribute the things I want to contribute with generosity and, really being able to step into it. So the Liberate will be literally a way that you can start to learn the skills of liberation, because one of the things I've come to recognize is that there are skills in living that way. And those are not the skills that we've been trained in. We didn't learn them at school. We haven't learned them at work. We haven't, in many cases, even learned them in a lot of our spiritual teachings, I don't think. So I'm very interested to explore that. I love more than anything to see people say, this is me. This is me. I feel like me. And it's the most ordinary feeling in the world, but it's not ordinary because we don't usually feel like that. I remember a lot of my life, I just felt like I was just like beside myself, or I wasn't in myself. So that's a really important thing. And then the other thing, the main program that I teach is called Thank You Money, which is funny because I know that Ken Honda has a something very similar, and it came up. It just came to me, this name. It's got to be called Thank You Money, which is a 12-month program, and that enables people to learn the sorts of things that I've been talking about: how to open your heart, how to find that love in yourself and also in your field and in your environment, so that you can love money and be loved by money. It's not all about money, because money touches into so many different things. So it's, in a way, it touches into our soul and our purpose, the ways we sabotage ourselves, as well as the way we free ourselves. And constantly this thread of our relationship with money, going to the heart of what I learned from writing my book.
Is that like an online? Is that like an online course or something?
Yeah.
What is it like? How many times a week or month did you meet?
So the core materials are there. There are short videos where I teach things. The big resource in there is, there's 240 what I call energy activations. So they're 20 to 30-minute recordings that literally activate different aspects of your energy. So it's like going to the gym every single day to activate and strengthen a part of your energy. And then I coach once a week. I do it twice a week for different time zones, live throughout the year. So people have access to that too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have that book that, when was that published, the energy book?
The Energy on Demand.
Yeah.
It was a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite sure. That's more what I've learned about energy. It starts with relaxation. When I first wrote it, I wanted to write every single book. Every single chapter was just going to be about relaxation. But I just thought that's really the only thing that's important. But my editor persuaded me that I should provide more content than that.
Did part of this come from the Qigong teaching?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured so.
I mean, that teaching about energy is embedded in everything. the
Yeah.
energy on demand. How do you receive the energy you need to be able to do the things you want to do every single day consistently, so you don't have those highs and lows, you don't crash in the afternoon, you have energy for your kids in the evening, you have energy at the weekends, you're not dying for a holiday all the time, this kind of stuff. How do you manage your energy? How do you balance your energy? How do you maintain your energy? How do you get a quick fix of energy? It's all that kind of stuff. And how do you prevent yourself from burning out?
Right. Right. Well, I have one more question for you. I'm kind of interested. How do you want to be remembered eventually? Or do you want to be remembered?
I don't care terribly about my name being remembered or something like that. But when you asked the question, what came to me was this like tiny little point. I want the work. I want it's not my work, like my voice or my name, but there's an essence in there of something that I feel is genuinely valuable. And
Yeah.
I want that to get bigger and bigger, or more and more impactful or significant the further it gets from me. So like I'm like this tiny point that it doesn't matter whether people remember me or not, but this kind of beautiful energy of money and of an economy that could work for all of us, that is built on generosity and abundance and love and is aligned with nature. That if that happens, I don't care if anyone remembers me or not.
It's that's your gift, right? That's what you're trying to.
That's what my life is about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Well, I want to thank you very much for sitting with me during this time, having this intimate conversation with me. So I want to thank you again for being here.
Well, thank you. I've talked about things today that I don't usually talk about, and it's just such a pleasure to have that kind of invitation
Yeah.
to speak more intimately. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.